You're listening to 24/7 Miami Radio.
Hello, folks. It's been a long time since I've done a Canonfire, but I had to do one. There's been so many news, but now I'm here and I'm joined with a man unlike any other, who's built unlike any other. He's physically ripped. Nick Giacara, Fit to Nick, right?
Yep, that's right, buddy.
So, what got you into fitness, man? What got you into personal health and training and things like that?
Well, I always grew up reading comics. The X-Men 90s cartoon was my go. I have the DVD set right here. That's like my go-to. But it was comics were like an example to me of being something more than yourself, like helping those who can't help themselves. And growing up, you start to realize that like the stronger you are, the more people you can help as well. And when I went through a rough spurt in my early 20s, I ended up gaining 50 pounds. And by changing that, everything else in my life started to improve. That was like one of the 20 different variables that was going on that were all negative. That was the one I could control. And that was the one that affected and positively changed everything else.
Well, what's interesting to me is that you've heard, obviously, everyone knows the little stereotype that, comic book nerds are like overweight, very malnutritioned and things like that. And here you are, a freaking stud. And then I go in to the gym one day and I'm wearing like a Superman shirt. And immediately you start like talking to me about Superman.
With the cape socks?
Yeah. Exactly, with the cape socks. And here you are, like, breaking that status quo. Like, ladies, good-looking, physically fit nerds exist.
Absolutely.
So, what got you into comics mostly was X-Men? That's an interesting place to start. I mean, X-Men were huge in the 90s.
Yeah, X-Men, and then even, like, when I was younger, watching, like, the Adam West Batman.
Rest in peace, Adam.
Yes.
You know what sucks? Speaking of Adam West, they didn't mention him in the Oscars for the in memorandum.
Oh, in that whole clip.
Yeah, they didn't mention.
That's lame.
I mean, Adam West. For many people, he was their Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for some people, he's like the most comic book accurate Batman because he never killed, and the other ones killed.
Yeah,
so,
they got a little dark.
Yeah, they were really dark. Like Affleck and BBS and well, he was only dark in BBS, Affleck, because the other ones they lightened him up
because of that 20-year gap. Yeah. They said there was a 20, and then you could tell something with him changed over that period of time, and I think it was linked to that Robin costume that you saw with the ha 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 on it.
Yeah.
Something about that.
We still have to see what DC is going to do because DC is kind of in an upheaval. But now going back to X-Men, who is your favorite X-Men?
Wolverine.
Well, he was like the face of Marvel Comics in the 90s. Like a lot of people put Spider-Man on that pedestal. Like he's the face of Marvel Comics. For me, he was in the 60s and 70s. Mm-hmm. But Wolverine sold every book he was on in the 90s. That's why he was part of Avengers. He was part of X-Force and Excalibur. He was in every X team and every Avengers team because everything sold with him. He was really popular.
Yeah, he was definitely like you could identify with the character. He didn't have like, even though a few of them had like, a rough upbringing, but his was really rough. His background was exactly traumatic, and how he really pushed himself to not be a prisoner of those bad memories. That like, hey, like that's just because I went through that, that's not who I am.
Now, I want to ask you this: have you ever considered cosplaying as Wolverine, or have you?
I have not.
You've got the build for it,
But
like.
I do have a Logan dog tag and my Wolverine socks, a couple Wolverine shirts, but
all you need is the claws, bro.
if we go to Comic-Con, then I'm definitely being Wolverine this year.
There you go. We got to spike up your hair, though.
Yes, I'll get it up there, tall.
Do you mind if I tell you a story that I just learned?
Please.
So you know the guy in charge of Marvel Cinematic Universe right now, Kevin Feige, like the big guy producer. Yes. So it turns out, I found out, he got his start on the first X-Men movie with Bryan Singer.
Okay, yes, I heard he worked on was it the first two he worked on?
Yeah, the first two.
Yeah.
And he fought and almost lost his job because he wanted Wolverine to have the spiky hair.
Jeez.
They wanted him to have like a mullet.
They didn't even give him the costume, and then you got to take the hair away.
Like that is a good point.
Yeah.
That's probably my biggest letdown with the Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, with the Fox series, they're not bad movies, but with Disney Marvel, what they do is they'll like Civil War is not in the movie, is not the Civil War comic,
right?
But there are small aspects about it that are the same. And just like I'm sure Infinity War will not be the Infinity Gauntlet. And so, but they tweak it enough where you can still get the classicness of the character too.
Right, like an homage, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because they teased it. I don't know if you remember, they teased the yellow and brown Wolverine suit in the end of Wolverine, and that made me so mad when I saw it.
That was a deleted scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bro,
I remember. I wanted to just see that. If they would have just opened the damn suitcase, like I would have been happy. That would have been it. Oh, that's on your plane? Boom. Movie over. Enough.
Now, one of the things that formed our bond was DC, though. When did you start getting into DC? Was it like later, like way later, or around the same time as X-Men?
So it was around the same time where I was definitely more of a fan of the Batman character just because his villains were on another level.
Oh, like the Tim Burton movies, like with
Michael
Joker and
Keaton.
Penguin.
Yeah, those were great. And
who could forget Michelle Pfeiffer, Catwoman?
Yep.
To this day, she's like my favorite.
Still the best. That leather, she made it work.
Yeah,
for sure. And then the Batman animated series on Fox,
which is considered by and large like the best animated cartoon of all time. Although you did bring up X-Men 90s, that's a good argument to have because X-Men 90s were top-notch cartoons, but the animation on the Batman ones, it's a good argument to have. I think we should settle that in another day. So you gravitated more to Batman. So Batman, Wolverine, you like the kind of like dark, mysterious character that's dealt with a lot of trauma. And
for sure, Daredevil's another one I really like.
What do you think of the Daredevil Netflix show?
I think it's the best show on Netflix.
Really? Yeah. Have you seen Jessica Jones?
So I haven't seen the second season.
I couldn't stop. I binged it.
Yeah?
It was really good. I think you'll really like it. However, it's not traditional hero versus villain. Like, I don't even know who the villain is.
Okay.
Because it's really, like, it's more noir detective story than a traditional superhero thing.
Okay.
Which, I don't know. I think there's too much superhero stuff.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that's why I was excited for when I saw the New Mutants trailer, was because it didn't look like a typical superhero movie. It looked almost like a horror movie.
Actually, speaking of which, did you hear what they're doing now with that? They pushed it back a whole year to make it more of a horror movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
even darker. All right.
Yeah.
All right. It looked pretty freaky, so that should be awesome.
So, why did you start your own company? To segue completely out of left field, But how'd you start Fit to Nick? Like, why'd you start and how'd you start it?
Well, my wife and I, we've both been managers of commercial gyms. I've been in health and fitness for about 14 years now.
14 years.
Yeah.
You're a pro, dude.
I hope so. I should be by now. But always learning. Trying to learn something new every day. So that's...
Is that like the motto of Fit to Nick? Like always learn something new every day? I mean, with you, like, and my trainer, Carolina, her and I, like, we're working out, but you drop knowledge on everybody. Like, everybody at the gym, like, you tell them a little something, and they go, oh, I didn't know that. You're really like an older Batman. Like, I'm here, I've taught you people, let me teach you guys some moves. So when it comes down to health and fitness, and you pointing out Wolverine and Batman is at the peak of like physical health. Is it possible to work out like Batman? To be as fit as Batman?
No one can be Batman, so I don't... He always finds a way, so...
I would like you personally to dress up one day as Batman.
Yeah?
Actually, when we went to see Justice League, you wore a Batman mask.
I did have the Batman mask and the shirt, the Dark Knight shirt.
Yeah. I personally like Justice League.
I did. It got ripped apart. I mean, there's a whole issue with Warner Brothers and the critics, where Disney and the critics have a much better relationship, and so those movies are always going to be rave reviews. And I mean, the difference it shows, like the difference of a movie making $700 million and over $1 billion could be a 30% Rotten Tomato score, a 30% more.
Yeah,
that could be it. Right there.
I
so
mean,
those reviews, but they definitely hurt the Justice League. But I liked it. I liked how it was done.
Same. I kind of wish it had better CGI, but they were trying to meet that release date. Mm-hmm. So I think for what it was good. We'll be right back after these words.
24/7 Miami Radio.
And so you're back from outer space. Sorry. I never find a good rejoiner to bring it back, but hopefully I'll discover one other than I Will Survive. So I'm here with Nick Giacara of Fit to Nick. So a lot of stuff came out for Shazam. Right now, last night, I think it was the logo, which I personally liked. Did you like it?
I liked it a lot. I love how they centered the lightning bolt,
right?
The exclamation point, the dark red. I really liked.
It was a good red, and I liked how it looks playful, but it also has a darkness to it.
Totally.
Which DC hopefully can do it very well.
Yeah.
Now you've seen Zachary Levi, and you've seen him in the suit.
Yeah.
One common criticism I keep finding is that the suit is padded. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Do you think it looks too padded?
I'm sure that they'll smooth it out with the CGI. I have seen it, and it does look padded. Like you could see, like in Deadpool, which Ryan Reynolds' brother-in-law is a good friend of mine.
No way.
And so I had a lot of good inside knowledge on that movie, but they had to actually take out the padding of the suit because he was so jacked that it didn't look right. It looked like enhanced padding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan Reynolds is a fit guy.
Yeah.
But in post they'll probably fix it. Now, do you think he's a good pick for Captain Marvel? Do you think he because he does I don't know if you've seen Chuck or actually, the only thing I know him from is Chuck. He was also in one of the Thor movies, but he was like Blink and You'll Miss It.
Okay.
He was Fandral, the guy with the sword in the first Thor movie.
Okay.
And then they replaced him because something happened. And he has like a unique playfulness to him, but I just don't know if he could be swole enough. Like, the suit might look weird on him. You know what I'm saying? Is there And they're shooting the film now, and the movie's going to come out April 2019. Mm-hmm. So it's not like...
Yeah, it's not tomorrow.
Yeah, but even then, they're shooting the film now, so he can't get more ripped than he is now.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a good lick?
I mean, I think that they need... If it needs the enhancement, then that's okay. I'll accept that. Then I'd rather have somebody who's a good actor who fits the part well and can do
than actually looking.
Than fully looking. Yeah, fully looking at. I mean, they enhance a lot of like you could see Hugh Jackman from the first X-Men until Days of Future Past or Logan. Totally different physiques all the way through. Yeah,
because in the first X-Men, he looked sickly almost. Like he didn't have any muscle.
Starving animal.
Exactly. And then just got more and more ripped. Now, sticking with DC, we haven't seen anything of Aquaman. And Aquaman's coming out in December. Supposedly, Warner Brothers has a huge thing with San Diego Comic-Con. Like, they're in bed with them. Almost. I feel if we're ever going to see footage, it's going to be at San Diego because that's where Zack Snyder showed off BVS. That's where he showed off Justice League. That's where Suicide Squad was showed off. Warner Bros. Has kind of a good standing with San Diego Comic-Con. I feel we're going to see a trailer at San Diego. But my question is, do you think Momoa is a good Aquaman?
I think that for what that character needs to kind of refresh it, because Aquaman's a badass in the
comics, yeah.
He is, but people think of the Super Friends on him on like a little friggin' seahorse, like, and it cheapens it because that's not the character at all.
Right, and I mean, I thought that was really good. I think you picked up on it when we were walking out of the theater. Was how different he was from the Super Friends. Like, even that joke about you can talk to fish.
Yeah. He's like, you can talk to fish.
Yeah. And you noticed, I believe, was he's like, I talk to the current talks to the fish.
Yeah.
It was a good difference. I personally enjoyed that. However, I'm going to throw this one at you. Wouldn't he have been better for Lobo?
That would have been amazing. That would have been the perfect casting.
Yeah, I don't know how many other long-haired buff guys are going to be for...
That really you can see on a motorcycle flying across the galaxy.
Yeah.
And, the cigar, a chain, and a shotgun. I mean...
The main man.
Yeah.
Now, are you excited for Aquaman and Shazam? Like, from what you've seen or what you've heard, are you somewhat excited?
Yeah, after seeing the Justice League, I'm more excited for Aquaman than I was. I was already excited, but even more so because I like how, again, he's a little bit of a tormented character. He's got a real feel to it. He's trying to do the right thing, but in his own way, not what he's traditionally told he's supposed to do.
Right. Like a rebel. Now, from what I understand, it's going to be a little Game of Thronesy with his story because he's going to be fighting for the throne. Would you be down for a story like that? Like a medieval story in a modern time? Would you be interested?
So it'll be... Because I read something about Black Manta being in it.
Oh, all I heard was Ocean Master, which is played by Patrick Wilson. Because that dude is friends with a lot of people at DC. Like, Zack Snyder puts him in everything, and James Wan puts him in everything.
Okay.
But I didn't know about Black Panther. Black Panther, damn, that's 2 villains for one movie. I think it could be done. It's been done before. Because
then they could... I think that they're going to do something a little different. I don't think you can do just that traditional, like, oh, I'm coming to claim the throne, like a King Arthur story or something like that. Like, it's been done so many times. They need, like, different angles.
Yeah. And he needs to kind of finally accept his place as King of Atlantis, but as friend to land. Because they kind of hinted that. Remember in Justice League where he was sitting on Diana's lasso of truth, he was like, I never accepted either land or sea, and I've always been alone. And then he was like, oh, you're gorgeous. You know?
Yes. It's a great scene.
I'm kind of hoping for that, and I really want to see how they do the talking underwater. Mm-hmm. But going to Shazam, you know who's playing the villain.
So, what's his last name? Strong?
Yeah, Mark Strong.
Mark Strong. Yes. Okay, I know who he is.
He's a phenomenal actor. He was in Kingsman, and he was in the failed Green Lantern movie. And I only say failed because nobody liked it, and it didn't make any money.
It didn't make any money.
But he is who I would have casted for any villain. Like, for any villain, that's who you cast, because he's got one of these styles. But so far, that's all I know. And they casted an African-American to play the Wizard Shazam.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
I personally, I'm super down with that.
I think that's good, because the story is like more like King Solomon and that magic, and like Black Adam was a slave, and he like that era.
Yeah.
So,
which, by the way, perfect casting for The Rock.
Yeah.
To be Black Adam. Oh my God, that's great.
I know. You think we'll get to see him?
I hope it would be great as a teaser in the post credits or something like that. That would be great, because we need a Black Adam.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna throw a rumor at you. Man of Steel 2 is supposedly in the works, and one of the villains they're thinking about, it's one of two villains, either Brainiac, which okay, that's a good villain, or Black Adam, and have Superman fight Black Adam because Henry Cavill and The Rock are friends, and The Rock has been showing up at DC, and they've been talking a lot about working as Man of Steel versus Black Adam type of thing. Would you be interested more in Brainiac or Black Adam? That's a hard question, I know.
That's a hard question. I think that Brainiac, if it's done right, could be better, because Black Adam may be too similar to General Zod in a way of like Superman versus Superman.
Yeah, and with wait, did you say Brainiac or excuse me, Brainiac or Black Adam being more like Zod?
Black Adam.
Yeah, but Black Adam's magic though.
Yes, yeah, he's magic. He doesn't use the yellow sun.
But it is true. It'd be a lot more physical fighting and things like that. And a lot of people didn't like that third act of Man of Steel, which I personally loved, but whatever.
Yeah, I love the whole movie.
Same.
It was the best Superman movie they made. I mean, the originals are the originals.
Yes,
but,
yeah. Christopher Reeves will always go down for me. I don't know. I kind of want Black Adam simply because of the magic idea, but Brainiac is a Superman villain, and Black Adam is Shazam's villain. So I kind of agree with your point that, yeah, maybe it would be better to have Brainiac.
But for the box office, The Rock will always draw.
Right? Did you see how much Jumanji made?
It made like, what, $600 million in like a couple weeks.
Yeah, and now it's already at the billion.
Yeah.
That's massive, man.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would make that much.
No way did I think it would make that much.
So, to kind of wrap up this DC news, do you like Ben Affleck for Batman? Or would you rather have the supposed backup idea, which is Jake Gyllenhaal?
I think Ben Affleck could have been really good for Batman, but it seems like his personal stuff is like taking precedent over really committing to the film, and like Christian Bale trained in martial arts for years. for that. He wanted to be that character. Like, he wanted to
embody it.
Yes, totally. And like go through what he went through. Where I've heard from reliable sources that when they offered Ben Affleck to be trained, in 6 months like that, he's like, no, that'll be the stunt man. Like, that's okay. I'll just work out.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, folks. So we'll be right back with more of Nick Giacara and Adrian.
24/7 Miami Radio.
So, we're here, live, in the moment. So, Nick, we talked a lot about DC. We should talk a little bit about the other one, the big red brand, the Marvel brand. We talked earlier about your love for the X-Men and what you like from New Mutants. But let's talk about a little bit about Disney Marvel that's 19 movies in. We're getting our 19th movie in April. Which is your favorite one? Which one did you enjoy the most? Because I imagine you've seen all of them.
I have seen them all. Yes, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
By far.
By far.
Honestly, cannot disagree. I'm a little torn because I really did enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy. But
that was great too. Yeah.
But Winter Soldier was so much like a political thriller. It was so different. It was visceral.
Yeah.
And Cap had the best choreography there. Because you see Avengers and he looks like a super gymnast more than an actual superhero.
Yeah, in the first Avengers, they kind of had him just like quarterbacking.
Right.
It wasn't really as involved. But in that Winter Soldier, he really, everybody took it to another level on that.
Now, which is your least favorite? Which one were you like, you walked out of and said, man, that movie sucked, or I'm just massively disappointed?
I would, if I had to say that of the 19 movies, I'd probably say Thor: The Dark World is around there.
That's probably a good one to pick. Yeah, I'm either that, or it really depends on my day. It's either that one or Iron Man 2.
Okay, so the other one I was gonna say was that would have
been, because they're really low points. They're not really good sequels. They don't really help the character move. And now let's talk a little bit about Infinity War. Just kind of going into it, we're gonna basically, the next 20 minutes are just gonna be Infinity War. Spoilers for people who haven't watched the trailer. Did you know there's people that don't watch trailers? Like, actively avoid it.
I recently only found this out about, around the Super Bowl. Because I think they had an Infinity War clip, and our chiropractor here, who's a good friend of ours, he's been a big comic guy his whole life. And, like, I remember the first comic he said he read was the one where the X-Men go to Asgard. Yeah, damn. So I was like, all right, that you were hooked after that. Yeah. For sure. But he does not watch the trailers because he doesn't want any, even though they're very smart with how they can almost mislead you with the trailers, like how Hela broke the hammer in like a New York alley in the trailer for Thor, but it was in the Netherlands.
Netherlands or Iceland or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so they can definitely like move things around. I also saw like a clip where in Thor Ragnarok where it was a deleted scene where Bruce Banner like said that, you're not Thor, the god of hammers, which we know Odin said at the end, which was like during that awesome fight where he became like a Thor Raiden just destruction lightning machine.
Yeah, which was an excellent scene.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Yeah, I have a couple friends that actively don't watch trailers, so I try to avoid that right there. We're going to be talking stuff of the trailers and things we've learned through our sources and things like that. All right, so enough of the nitty-gritty. Who's dying?
Let's get to it. Well,
because I have my sources.
Yes.
For Avengers 3, Gamora, Vision, and Loki.
Mm-hmm.
And Avengers 4 is Tony. And supposedly Steve Rogers.
Okay. So I definitely think it's in either the Infinity War or the Avengers 4 that, which I think comes out 2019.
Yeah, it comes out the year after. Like
Yeah, which Shazam will be then too. That'll be a good battle.
We're pretty loaded. Like this year, only one DC film.
Yeah.
Next year, 2019, it has 2 DC films.
Wonder Woman 2.
Wonder Woman 2 in November, and then in April, Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, which I forgot to mention, Kristen Wiig was just cast as Cheetah.
Oh, I saw that.
For Wonder Woman 2.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how to feel, because for me, Cheetah's like more petite and very physical, like a visceral woman. But we'll see. I hope the CGI looks good.
Yeah.
Because that's the way of the movie business now. Nobody does practical effects anymore.
I definitely think Tony Stark's going to die in either this Infinity War or the Avengers 4.
Now, we both know why he should die.
Civil War.
He was wrong. But also, he makes so much money.
Yeah, it's he's getting $75 million of film up front, and this is from someone who worked on the actual film, who relayed this information to me. So he gets $75 million of film up front. He gets a private mansion in the city that they're filming for the entire duration.
Wow.
He gets a private helicopter ride to and from that to the set every day. And then he gets a piece of the box office too. So with him, even at the $75 million on the front end, on the back end, and what they're spending on the mansion, the helicopter, I mean, it's easily $125 million.
And also, the budget for both movies is supposedly in the billion range.
I could see that.
Because the first movie was, they filmed it back to back, and the first movie is supposedly $500 million.
So he's like 20% of that.
Him alone.
Yeah.
My God. And also, I don't know if you've heard, but there was like stories when he, after the first Avengers or during the first Avengers, he fought for for the other actors to get more money. And he was fighting and like saying, "Oh, I'm not going to do Iron Man 3 unless you give these people their money." And so, I mean, as a company, would you want somebody
who has that type of leverage against you?
Yeah.
No, definitely not. I mean, and he did the right thing.
Oh, yeah.
He definitely did. I mean, they were getting, like, I think Chris Hemsworth and Chris Evans. Chris Evans is a phenomenal actor in everything he's in.
Oh, for sure.
Everything. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen Puncture or The Snowpiercer or, I mean...
I loved him in Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
Snowpiercer's an underrated film.
So underrated. I saw... there was a Entertainment Weekly where they showed, like, the top 100 action movies of all time. And Terminator 2 is my favorite movie. That movie changed my life.
Same.
That movie changed... I remember that was the first rated R movie I saw that in the theater. That changed my life. But the Snowpiercer was number 14 on the list of 100, and Terminator 2 was number 13. So I'm like, I have to see this movie. When I read... And I've seen it probably, like, at least 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, but it's not just an action movie. Like,
no.
It's a lot more, and there was a lot of drama and depth into it. And speaking earlier with Winter Soldier, he fucking brought it in that movie. Totally. Yeah, we could curse. This is the internet. Everybody curses. But he brought it in that movie. Totally.
And they were only... I think they're paying him and Chris Hemsworth, like... I mean, still a good sum of money, but $1 to $2 million a film compared to, you know, 10, 20, 30, or 50
for Downey.
Yeah, which Robert Downey Jr. was getting 50, so he went to bat for them, which is pretty awesome.
I really do think Tony will die. Now, I read a leak somewhere that somebody, that when Gamora dies, it's not really a death, but it's more like she gets sacrificed to bring out the Soul Stone for Infinity Gauntlet. And the third movie of Guardians of the Galaxy is finding out how to take her out of the Soul Stone. So she's not really dead, but like
she's trapped in it.
Right.
Okay.
Which that's why they're going to bring in Adam Warlock and a couple other characters for Guardians 3.
That's good. They should leave that there. Don't.
Yeah, don't
make it too complicated. Yeah.
Exactly. Which Guardians 2, I really enjoyed. I don't know about you, but that's certainly going to be a big emotional moment. However, Vision dying, we all kind of saw coming, but Loki dying is probably the biggest like shocker because he's lived for so long, right?
Yeah, I mean, through the Norse mythology, he's got to be tens of thousands of years old,
right?
But he, to see him die, which I feel like a couple characters that need to be redeemed for some things that they did in some other films, but we still know that they're kick ass and that they have some good left in them. I feel like when they kill them, that it'll be like in a redeeming way. Like he'll do it if he dies, it'll be like to save Thor.
Right. Or Asgard.
Yeah, or exactly, or the other people. I've also heard that there's a chance that there's a scene where Thanos is holding Thor with the eye patch, and then they show Loki with like the
Tesseract.
Yes. In the next scene, and then all the bodies on the floor with the Dark Order there. I read something where they said that possibly Idris Elba's character, who's on their ship, and just like in Thor Ragnarok, when Hela was there, he's like, Asgard, she's here. Oh, when Loki showed up, I saw you coming. Of course you did. And so that I've read somewhere that he had already seen Thanos' ship coming, and so Loki shapeshifted him illusionarily into Thor, and Thor bolted. They said, like, you need to get out of here, you need to like go to, because they're already on their way to Earth, they're like, you need to get help, like,
right,
not like get help like in Ragnarok, but right, which was great, but
with the Revengers team.
Yes, the Revengers. Exactly.
We're all seeking revenge. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm undecided.
So we're gonna cut it here. We're gonna be right back. We're gonna talk about Hulk because there's something Ruffalo said that I don't know if you heard, but I want to mention it to you and to you folks.
24/7 Miami Radio.
Damn, it's a shame it's the last segment. I've been having such a fun time talking to you, man. But you're going to be out of Miami. You're going to be living and moving fit to Nick over to Colorado. Where in Colorado again?
To Broomfield.
Right, but you're like a hop and a skip away from Denver, right?
Yep, like 10 miles from Denver, 15 from Boulder. It's
Oh, so you're set. So you're going to start trading Colorado people instead of Miami people. Thankfully, I always tell everybody.
You said it.
I always tell everybody, get out of Miami as soon as you can. To everybody listening, get out. Miami sucks. So we were talking about Infinity War. Now, I kind of teased earlier in the third segment about Hulk. Now, Mark Ruffalo, as you know, as most people know, Universal has the rights to Hulk, and they don't want to give him a solo movie because Incredible Hulk kind of bombed.
So that's, I remember it was a while ago. I heard something where like Disney can use the Hulk in a movie with other heroes, but they can't make an Incredible Hulk movie unless it's Universal.
Right. Stupid legality and rights. But here's something cool. Mark Ruffalo said that they have kind of made a story arc. A Batman towel? Is that a
blanket?
It's a Batman blankie?
Yeah.
I have a Batman blankie too.
That's awesome.
So in regards to the Hulk, he says that the Hulk has like a character arc that started in Age of Ultron, then it goes into Thor Ragnarok, Then it goes into Infinity War 1 and 2. So there's like a definitive story for the Hulk there. Here's my question to you. With him saying that, do you think he's going to lose the Hulk? Or do you think Hulk will lose Bruce Banner? Because there's been times where the Hulk just stays the Hulk.
So at the end of Thor Ragnarok, he was still the Hulk at the end.
But he had difficulty getting back to it.
Yeah, so that was like his big thing was like, you don't understand what I'm saying? Like, if I turn into the Hulk again, Banner may never come back.
Right.
So, but I like how they're doing. It's like a good short story of like how the Hulk is tormented. Like when he took the jet, you know, and ended
into
up
space and ended up in Sakaar.
Yeah. But you can. I don't know if they'll ever do like a Mr. Fix-It or like the Gray Hulk, but I've heard that possibly because Thunderbolt Ross, that I've heard that they could possibly throw a Red Hulk in somewhere at some point.
That would be good.
Because they already introduced him with, I think it's William Hurt.
Yeah.
Who's a great actor.
He is great as Thunderbolt Ross for Incredible Hulk. Incredible Hulk was like my favorite for a long time until Winter Soldier came out. And Guardians came out. I was like, yeah, Incredible Hulk, you could be there in the 3rd or 4th place. But I would be down for Red Hulk.
Yeah.
I would absolutely be down. But you know who I think now, because we see a lot of money being made with Wonder Woman and Black Panther made a lot of money, I would be down for a She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
For a Jen Walters. Unfortunately, I don't know who would play it. I'm going to toss you a name. Gina Carano.
She's a badass.
She was in
Haywire.
Yeah, and she was also in Deadpool 1. She was the girl that fought Colossus.
Yes.
I think she would play a really good She-Hulk.
Angel? Is her name Angel?
Yeah, Angel does in the movie. Okay. So, yeah, you wanted to ask me a question.
So, in the Infinity War, when all is said and done, do you think that it will lead into potentially Galactus and the Silver Surfer as in Avengers 4 as the post-credit scene? Like if you just saw the Silver Surfer overlooking the Earth on the board, and that was the cutout of the post-credit scene of Avengers 4, I'd buy a ticket like on the way out, you know?
Yeah,
that'd be it. Like
I think that would be an amazing like teaser for Avengers 5. Like you lead into that where you and I both know, but I don't know if people know, layman people know, people that don't research too much into the news, but Disney did buy Fox. And by the time Avengers 4 is done, they should have already done the deal. Like the deal
would have gone through. It was like 18 months or something.
So that would be really huge. I would be fine with just Silver Surfer. Because you already know with just Silver Surfer, Galactus is going to come.
Yeah, you know it's coming.
And I'd be absolutely down with it. I would also be down if they just mention maybe Doctor Doom or Reed Richards. Mm-hmm. If you mention one of them, I would be down. It's funny how we're going the Fantastic Four route instead of X-Men, because we have a lot of X-Men, but Fantastic Four hasn't been done right.
No. They definitely did not
the reboot was terrible. Those. I'm glad I didn't pay money to see it. I had a friend that
I bootlegged it.
Good. You should have. God damn, that movie sucked.
Yeah, so under-deliver. But they got to use the Doctor Doom character. It's way too good of a character. He's got way too much depth. He's way too powerful to not utilize him. Like in one of the stories, I think he takes over Wakanda for the vibranium. I mean, like there's so many different things you can do with him.
In the 80s, he took over the world, and Avengers lost, and it was a good story. Yeah. Like, you know, Doctor Doom is one of those characters, but to bring in Galactus, like if you use Thanos. Thanos is one of the bigger bad guys, but Galactus is a huge Earth villain.
Yeah, he eats planets.
Exactly.
Literally.
Like, if you thought you were on a bad diet.
Yeah, right.
But bringing in Galactus, and I don't want a Cloud. Like, shitty Fantastic Four movie.
What the fuck was that?
I would absolutely be down with just a big purple guy. Or a big guy in a big purple suit.
Just not Ivan Ooze.
No. Which Apocalypse looked like a little bit.
Totally. That's what I was kind of referencing in the hint.
Touching on that a little bit, little segue there. You know, we're getting a Dark Phoenix movie.
And that's just later this year.
Yeah, that's this year, and I haven't seen any promotional footage other than Sophie Turner as the Phoenix Force. Are you interested? I mean, did you like X-Men Apocalypse?
I liked parts of X-Men Apocalypse. They did not make Apocalypse badass enough.
No.
They really downplayed the character. Like, Apocalypse's thing is, like, he gets you to do the dirty work.
Right.
You know, he's like that hidden hand underneath everything, like the legacy virus. He's like a shape-shifting guy who became a doctor. Nobody knows he's the guy who started the virus so that he could implement it, you know? And so they didn't utilize him well, where, like, even in the battle with him and Xavier, where in Xavier's mind he grows and stuff, where, I mean, even in the X-Men cartoon or the comic, like, if Apocalypse wanted to, he could just obliterate the X-Men completely and, you know, one shot. But that's not his thing. It's like, you know, about the
He's
humanity.
all about mutants.
Yeah, and mutants ruling and humanity getting what they deserve for their false worship.
Right. I kind of agree with you. I like parts of Apocalypse, mostly the Magneto parts. I think Fassbender has been an amazing Magneto.
He is. He does a really, really good job. I'm glad that they picked him for that.
But with Dark Phoenix, there's no Magneto. It's purely just the X-Men dealing with Sophie Turner accepting the Phoenix Force and kind of like dealing with it.
Are the Shi'ar going to be in it? Are they going to do the M'Kraan Crystal? Are they going to do or is it going to be like how X-Men 3 was? Where
I don't want another X-Men
No.
3. I don't want another X-Men 3. I would absolutely be down for the Shi'ar.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We need Gladiator.
Yeah. Oh man. Gladiator is one of those fun Marvel ripoffs that they have.
Totally. They have like 5 different Supermen, like the Sentry, Hyperion, Gladiator.
I don't know if they would ever bring out Sentry or Hyperion, because that would be too similar to Superman.
It would be too similar. It would be the backstory could be too complicated too.
Yeah. Especially for the layman's, but, you know, us nerds, we live for this shit. Nick, I want to say thank you for being on my show.
It was a pleasure.
Fit to Nick, where can we find Fit to Nick again? On Instagram and?
Instagram at the Nick Giacara and Fit to Nick, FIT2, the number, and NIK, or fittonick.com.
Oh, you have a website.
Yes.
Damn, you're super legit then. I want to say thanks again, and I can't wait to hear from you in Colorado kicking ass and taking names.
Awesome. Thank you.
Take care, folks.
Miami Radio.